Yeah, so year 2 has been a really interesting year. Got a lot done. And I guess if I had to say my favorite bit or skit from year 2 would have to be issue 113.
I was like, 113.
So you stalled because you were just like, issue 113.
It was like pause for effect.
And deliver.
And if you guys don't know, that's the one where I'm essentially twerking in that one. I came up with the idea of that skit because, She-Hulk came out that week, and at the end of She-Hulk, in the end of the episode, Megan Thee Stallion was there in the episode where they were both twerking. It was funny. It was viral. Internet blew up. And I was like, okay, we could do the same thing, It would have to be one of us. I initially didn't think that I was going to do it. I just came up with the idea, but then I thought, maybe it'd be better if, it came from me. So I decided, okay, I'll do the twerking and stuff. And it was actually essentially my first time actually trying to do that. It's a real try that I get to. I wasn't that good, or people thought it looked funny, and it ended up working out. If you could look back right now, we'll have a screenshot right here. That video right now has 170 views, and that skit was only less than a minute or more than a minute. So I don't know. I guess I know comedy.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue number 147. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
And welcome to the show.
Hey!
Who's exhausted? Me.
We're still, even in the morning.
You can tell from my voice.
You're right. Yeah.
This guy. Oh my God.
Mind you, we're recording Sunday morning, the day after Free Comic Book Day, me working Free Comic Book Day, Bryan going to Knott's,
Yeah.
Nick just being Nick,
Being me is exhausting.
Yeah. Having to wake up at normal human hours, that's tiring.
Yeah,
you know?
listen, I have to keep the demons at bay, so that's exhausting. Okay, those voices tell me to do things.
Look, man, I'll tell you. Sometimes right now, I'm afraid that I live Split,
Mhm.
the movie Split, where the
You
person
live
lives two
two
personalities.
personalities?
Yeah, where
you fall asleep, but you're actually walking around town.
yeah, exactly.
What you don't know is you're a male stripper.
No, I
Your
found my-
stripper's name's Dump Truck.
So I've been trying to clue you in on it for years now.
Dude, I've seen you around, man. Trust me. No, I was always afraid that I'd wake up and my second life was like a drug dealer or something like that.
That's way too cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
no, because I would wake up with bruises and stuff, and I'm like, dude, how did I get these, man? I don't remember doing anything.
Dealing drugs. I like how the next conclusion is, am I dealing drugs?
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's Los Angeles. What do you expect, dude?
What about if Andy just she gets home and she just punches you as you're asleep?
She used to in her sleep.
Just
Dude, she used to in her sleep because she moves around a lot, so she would just swing at me, and one time swung at my face, and I'm like, "What the heck, dude?" Yeah, it's
she was
fun.
awake.
She was just pretending to fall asleep.
Yeah, she was.
As soon as you turn her shirt.
Yeah, because as soon you wake up, and you're
Pictured
like,
it,
you're
yeah.
like, oh, what the? And then,
Yeah.
and then as soon as you go like, damn, and then she goes,
Got him.
That's for cheating on me in your dreams.
Right.
No, it's been
we're having a second family in my dreams.
For being happy with another woman in my dreams.
No, it's been an interesting week. We've got Free Comic Book Day, which happened this last Friday, which was a huge success apparently.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good turnout.
A lot of people showed up.
Oh yeah,
Busy.
I ended up getting the Star Wars omnibus for the what was it, brand new
yeah.
Marvel,
the
new,
Jason Aaron.
the Jason Aaron one. Dude, it's huge. Wow.
For people that don't know, that's basically an encyclopedia, right?
Oh, dude, it might be bigger than encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah,
it was heavy.
it was normally $125. He only bought it for $60.
Not bad. Not bad.
I know.
So
Monica
now-
I know when we were walking out, Monica was like, "That was kind of expensive for a book," and I go, it was originally 125. She goes, "Oh, that's a good deal."
Yeah.
No, Andy went to Disneyland for May 4th,
Mhm.
and she sent me the photo because apparently they were selling the limited edition Cal Kestis lightsaber
That's sick.
from the video game
that's
Survivor.
dope.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because apparently you can do like a double attachment to it now.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, that's freaking sick.
Yeah.
I probably would have bought it out of like the want,
Uh-huh.
but in reality, I would have like regretted it.
Cal's lightsaber in the new game is like just so much cooler. Just
It
because
is.
it has.
But have you held on to the legacy lightsabers at Disney?
Huh?
Have you touched the legacy lightsaber at Disney?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've
They're
touched
not
them.
good,
They're
dude.
they're okay. The Black Series, I would definitely recommend getting the Black.
The Force
Series.
FX Elites
Yeah.
are sick.
Oh, yeah.
Those are really nice.
Those are sick. But like, I think the legacy ones at Disney, they have too much plastic that they feel really lightweight.
It's
Yeah.
because it's weird because they're built on the same frame that the ones in what was it, Savi's?
Yeah.
Wasabi's
Is
workshop, yeah.
there in that's a plastic core and then they put metal on top of it to give it weight.
Mhm.
But the thing is that for those legacy ones, I feel like there's more plastic than there is metal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't. And so you like, I get it. It's for display purposes. Like the Force FX one that I bought for
The dark
the
saber.
Darksaber
Oh,
here
yeah.
at the store.
Yeah.
That's a display item.
Mhm.
That's not
Yeah.
to be messing around with a
Mhm.
lot and anything. Like you can just use it
It's
for
heavy.
lighting.
Yeah.
It is heavy.
It's heavy, but you can feel where the blade connects into it.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be able to swing that against anything
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
too
because
hard.
you can feel the.
Yeah, I
You
took
feel-
it to
you feel the
Guildhall.
give.
Mhm.
I took it to Guildhall and we ran into this guy that was like, "Oh, that's a pretty cool Darksaber." I'm like, "Yeah," and I told him the story of how
Yeah.
like Amazon canceled it and I had to
Mhm.
buy it over here at the store. And he's just like, "How much do they run for?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen it run as low as like $295. I've
Mhm.
seen it go up to like $500
Yeah.
because they're so limited." And he goes on Amazon. He's like, "Oh, dude, it's at $295. I just bought it right now."
Oh,
I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever."
That's
your money, dude."
great, man. You know, you got that money to burn.
Yeah, there you go. So
Hey,
Douche.
man.
some
No.
people, dude.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the other thing too. Like my Savi's lightsaber, I bought the stand for it over at Savi's.
Uh-huh.
Like I bought the actual stand, so now
Oh,
it just
yeah.
sits on my desk, and I like it. And then also I want to because I last time I went, I saw that they had extra scrap. So I asked him, I was like, "Oh, are you guys selling extra scrap yet?" And he goes,
Mhm.
"No, you have to wait until after May the 4th.
Mm.
Like after May, then come back to us and we might be selling the new scraps because they redesigned all of them.
Yeah, so now you
did they?
can like buy the little pieces that
They
where you built
redesigned
it.
all of the lightsabers.
Mhm.
So like elemental, peace and justice, all of them. They all have different designs now.
So what you're saying is we got to go back.
I
Yeah.
have to go back and I have to go get more scrap. And I think
Same.
last time I went when buying scrap, I think it was $20 a piece.
That's not bad.
No,
$20 a piece. There's 7 pieces on it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
it's $140.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, five pieces. Sorry, 5 pieces. No.
That's
I was-
$100.
No, I was
$100.
like, because I said 7, and I was like, that sounds like too many. And then I was like, no, there's
Like
5.
there's the hilt, there's the hibitor. You know, like
Yeah, I was
there's
counting. No, but because I'm thinking of the 2 pieces as 2 separate.
Oh yeah.
Speaking about Jedi Survivor, I've seen the gameplay for that, dude.
So much fun.
I
Yeah.
want to.
That
I
looks good.
here's what's the first one? Fallen Order.
Fallen
I couldn't
Order.
remember it for like the life of me this last week, but I was like, I haven't beaten it, and I
Mhm.
might just move my Xbox back to my PC to
Mhm.
just
How have
grind
you
it
both not beaten it?
because I got busy, dude.
Mhm.
That's all it is. But like because my Xbox is on the TV and not on my computer, I don't have that incentive to play it.
There's a lot of open. So far, I'm getting into Survivor. According to a buddy of mine, I barely scratched the surface of the game, and because I'm already kind of going back and forth. A lot of the game is dealing with High Republic stuff, so
Yeah.
it's really sick. Like the fact that you actually get to, because you customize your lightsaber however you want now, because there's a bunch of different inhibitors, a bunch of different things. But the cool thing about it is you can also have a crossguard, and
Uh-huh.
you can customize how the crossguard looks.
Yeah, I saw
You
that.
can do all that, and then not only that, but also you can then see how it splits and everything. It also goes over how you get an orange lightsaber, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Is the orange lightsaber really that cool?
It is.
So-
Is it though?
It kind of.
the
I don't.
orange-
I guess.
When you see red, blue, and green a lot,
Yeah.
and purple, because everyone apparently wants to use purple now, when it
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
even
why
cool
same thing.
a
that's-
couple years ago.
I think that's what it. That's why I'm not
I mean, a
enthused
couple
about the
years ago, I
purple
still-
one.
I like purple. Purple was dope.
Yeah,
Purple
but
was
like,
sick.
but no, I feel like every other Star Wars fan was like, "Oh, purple," and like Mace Windu willed his, and
Yeah.
like, "Oh, purple!" Like,
I used to be a purple
I'm different.
fan.
I'm not getting blue or green or red. I'm getting purple.
I mean, on my Calcast is on Cal right now.
Yeah.
I have the white. I have
See,
Ahsoka's white.
for mine, for Fallen Order, it's just blue because I like blue.
You like
I'm-
blue? Yeah, you're fine. That's fine.
I'm a purist.
I like.
It's like,
I just listen. I'm a simple man. That's all
I'm
it is.
simple.
Are you a simple man going through the galaxy?
Yeah.
I just like the fact I like colors that not a lot of people use. So like white or yellow right now are pretty sick. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to stand out, right?
I see, and I feel like people that do that, it's like that's like 80% of the Star Wars fans. You know? I want to
80%
stand
right now are using purple. All right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
So purple's gone.
No, but then
Purple's out of my
also,
list.
but now like because the comic books they did, Luke found a orange lightsaber, so everyone's now orange. You know, I'm like okay, yeah.
I'm good.
I like Sunny D. Yeah.
It's interesting because it does kind of give you more background into what's going on inside of Ahsoka, especially with it coming out. Just because an orange lightsaber is a Jedi that's bled their blade.
Mm.
So it had an original color, and then you turned, and then you took the crystal out and then bled it.
That's orange.
That's orange.
Well, that's
Okay.
the origin of having an orange lightsaber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't
Like
know
I said.
that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So it's more of, because most people are getting like crystals and then they're bleeding them, and that's how you're getting that pure red.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is more of like it already was purified.
It
and
was
then-
just people grabbing the kyber crystal. Bleed, damn it! You're squeezing it. Bleed.
Do it.
Nah, man, there's a pretty dope scene where you see one character and you see him get his lightsaber, and then you see him start taking it apart to like kind of like check the mechanics, and then you see him grab the thing and he's talking, and his voice gets darker and darker and darker, and you're going like, uh-oh. And then out of nowhere you can just see like his hand glowing orange, and he just slams it back in, closes it, and turns it on. You're like, ah, oh, damn it. I just handed him his lightsaber. Oh no.
I gotta get back into it. I might. Before we get into the news, we got a pretty it's gonna be a short episode, but we do have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So before we move on, go check out keepingupwiththenerds.com. I was gonna go
You say WWE.
WWE.
WWE.WWE.
keepingupwiththenerds.com for all the up-to-date information. Check out our socials on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube. 154 subs. The SFS Festival video came out already, so if you guys want to check out the Santa Fe Springs Art Festival, including the film festival, you guys can go check out that video there. It's already passed for this year, but information on how to apply for the film festival is in the description. So if you're interested, or a filmmaker, if you're in the area, this is international as well. So if you're even outside of the area, you guys can apply and send in those films. All the information is in the description below of the film.
4 Iranian listeners, that means you guys. That's
All
you
the way
guys.
across the seas, dude.
And the
Yeah,
two
for sure.
and the 2 guys from Russia.
Dude, you're looking at a demographic, aren't you?
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
Don't forget to check out our audio platforms as well, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. Am I missing anything else?
No,
That was it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So today's issue includes Guardians of the Galaxy review. That's going to be towards the end. That's going to be a pretty long part. We're also going to be talking about Star Wars Visions, because that one came out last week for May 4th.
There are a few of us that have watched it all.
Yeah.
And there's a few of us that haven't finished it.
And there's one that hasn't finished it, one that
I got to like episode 5.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you went further than
I went
did.
a little further. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll be talking about that. But first,
It's like, I know that we have to make content, and I finish things.
I was running a freaking
dude, we
book
were
day yesterday.
yeah, exactly. He was running the store. All right, I
yes.
was celebrating a birthday.
I was telling him yesterday. I didn't get a chance to finish it, and then Monica was like, "I'm gonna go get ready so we can go to the shop to go see Rene and Mandy." And I go, "All right." And then she went to take a shower, and I went, "Visions." And I just sat there, all right, I'm gonna watch. And then like it's starting to come down, and then she goes, "Nick, you have 5 minutes," and I'm like, "This only have 5 minutes, like almost done."
Yeah, these are super short. Which they
Almost
are.
done.
No, they
Yeah,
are
they're
short.
like
they're
15,
super
20
short.
minutes
Yeah.
each. No WWE talks this week. I know Backlash
Not
was
that there's
Saturday.
nothing to talk about. It's just that we haven't finished watching Backlash.
Yeah, so we'll probably. I haven't seen SmackDown either, so more than likely I'm probably gonna watch SmackDown.
I did see some results,
What?
and They're pretty crazy.
So my thing is that what about if instead of like a weekly WWE, so that way it gives you guys time to like catch up, why would we do like a monthly? Like at the end of the month, you guys always
Because
check
sometimes
in.
there's some big stuff that we got to talk about, dude.
We could do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every
so.
2 weeks might be
We'll
better.
figure something out
Yeah.
for year 3, but definitely there's a crowd that wants to hear us talk about WWE.
And I know that, but I do feel like because every week it's kind of like you guys are always behind, and it doesn't.
We just get busy. Guardians took up Friday. What do you want us to do? Not watch Guardians?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to make a choice,
Yeah, we made the choice, which was watch Guardians.
or not
And
go to
cry.
Knott's Berry Farm.
How could you say that, dude? How could you say that? How could I not be there to the support friend of the show, Sarah?
Hey, first off,
We
I
need
got
her
all,
back.
I
too.
got all my stuff done, and I went to Disneyland.
Oh.
So I don't know what
I
you're talking about.
prioritized.
Yeah, I got all the things that I was supposed to get done.
No, but we'll talk about WWE next week, including Backlash, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown. Not of that Friday, but the previous Friday before then, because there's some pretty good results apparently. So
Yeah, some pretty good results.
okay, cool. So we'll just keep it to that because I got to watch it today.
Mhm.
But just like every other issue, let's go ahead and start off with comic strips. It's going to be a special comic strip because we are going to have one topic that does take up more than 5 to 15 minutes of a conversation because it's a pretty big one. And Nick might tangent off on this one. So yes, it's a very special issue of comic strips.
I don't know why you always call me out.
It's part of the show now, dude. Get used to it.
Is it in the script?
Is it?
I don't know.
No, that's too bad. You won't ever know,
I
dude.
think you ad-libbed that part.
All right, so let's go ahead and start off with this. Super Mario Brothers movie has officially crossed 600 million domestically.
Yeah.
This was a couple days ago. Okay. It has now crossed 1.1 billion worldwide.
They're not gonna make a sequel though. Nope.
You don't think so?
No, they're definitely gonna make a sequel.
I was like,
Listen,
really?
if there's one thing that Nintendo knows how to do, it's make sequels to a Mario thing.
Right?
It's bleed Mario dry.
Yeah.
James Cameron sitting on top of his throne right now, just seeing Mario rise,
yeah.
like, no, stay down.
And then he's
just
like,
going-
woohoo!
Yahoo!
Yahoo! It's a me.
I'm coming
How
for
many
you,
different
James
iterations
Cameron.
of Mario have we had? We've had Mario Sunshine.
Sunshine, Mario 1 through at
Hold
least
up, are
5.
you talking video game wise?
Yeah, man.
Like Mario
So,
1 through
How
4.
many iterations
Mario
have we had?
1.
Yeah.
Then we had the Mario Game Boy Advance game,
Yeah.
or Game Boy game.
You also have
excuse me.
Jumpman.
Then you have Super Mario Brothers 2,
Yeah.
which technically wasn't a Super Mario Brothers game, but it was.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64,
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Super Mario and Yoshi.
Galaxy gives me nausea.
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Is it because is it all the movement?
Wait, oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about Odyssey. I remember Galaxy. I
Yeah.
remember
Odyssey was
Odyssey
pretty
came
fun.
out.
Yeah, because Odyssey you go to the real world.
Oh, okay.
New Donk City.
Yeah.
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario.
Oh, Baby Mario.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Then we got how many Mario parties are there?
A lot. They
and
stopped using numbers.
then we got Mario Kart.
I'm waiting for Mario. I'm waiting
Mario
for
Kart.
Mario.
Yeah.
Mario Party X.
Vin Diesel's in it.
Yeah, Vin Diesel
It's
is
all
in it.
about family.
It's all about family Mario.
Oh, there was also Mario Paint,
Mario Paint.
and there was also like a
Yeah.
Mario music game too.
Oh yeah. And
Oh
we
yeah,
got
Mario Music Maker.
and then we got
Mario
Super
Maker,
Mario
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Mario.
Mario at the Olympic
Call
Games.
of Duty.
Mario and
Cross
Sonic at
Mario.
the Olympic Games.
Oh, Mario and Sonic.
Oh, Mario Tennis
Tennis.
Oh yeah.
and golf
Strikers.
Oh yeah.
and
Dr.
soccer.
Mario.
Dr. Mario.
Doctor. He got his PhD.
Yeah, man. He was like, I'm done with plumbing. Forget this.
What do you guys
He
do
got
with
his
your
doctorate,
future?
man. Like, oh my god, that's right. I forgot. He figured out if you match pills together, you can
Yeah.
kill disease.
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers. And how, oh my god, how many Smash Brothers are there? You got Smash Brothers Melee, Brawl,
The first one,
Yeah.
Melee.
Brawl, and we.
Ultimate,
Wii U,
and then Ultimate.
and then
Isn't
Ultimate,
there? Isn't
yeah.
there Ultimate Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah. Oh, there's also the Smash Brothers 3DS game.
Oh, I forgot
That
about
one,
that.
that one still counts as the Super Smash Brothers
Wii U, but
Wii U.
it's
Oh,
still,
really?
Yeah,
you don't want
it's-
to you don't want to piss off the Smash Brothers community, okay?
It's
The
the
last
same
thing we
game.
need is
What
for
are
the
you
comic.
gonna do?
Connect.
Push buttons at me?
Oh no! What they're gonna do is they're gonna infiltrate the comic book
Uh-huh.
store, okay, and then they're just gonna stench up the place with their odor.
Oh god.
That's what they're gonna do. So you got to be careful with that.
You know, we got a whiff of that as soon as we open our comic book day. You know, it was so funny.
I'm gonna
'cause
tell you, this will go with the
people-
Guardians of the
oh, yeah.
review.
Yeah.
But we went to go see it at Norwalk, and Norwalk is such an old theater, dude.
Yeah.
No AC.
Norwalk,
and-
Norwalk
my
I feel
God.
hasn't been updated.
I
in
was
years.
so
No.
sweaty because I was sitting next to Nick and Mandy.
And it wasn't that we were sitting next to each other.
No, we were just
we were laying on each other.
Yeah, we were sitting so close to each other because the theater, like you said earlier, the theater, the seats are so good, and I'm like a seat and a half. So me and Nick are like mashing together, you know, and I have Mandy, which normally me and Mandy are used to kind of like mashing together, which is fine. But I'm a warm person in general, so I'm like my hair is getting wet. I'm taking off my
I don't
hat.
think you saw when I sat down. I put my arm against him and Monica.
Yeah,
I went.
yeah, we were just like that.
I was like that. And I was like, this feels right.
Yeah. I told Monica like, "Oh, we're a throuple now."
And now we're a throuple.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Wait, what? What happened?"
But yeah, so I remember when I got up to go to the bathroom, I was literally like holding it in, like I could feel it at the tip, and I'm just like, I gotta go. And so as soon as I got up and then I left the theater, I was like, oh god, and I was like, I was cold.
Breathing.
No,
Yeah.
it was-
Just imagine when we go see Fast X.
I know, but I
Or we're not going to. Oh, we haven't gotten
we
tickets
haven't
yet.
gotten
So.
tickets yet. But I thought it was funny because when he got up, because I was getting so used to his warmth on my arm that when he got up, there was like a cold that went across my arm because like he touched the sweat and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like, ooh, it's cold.
See, there's the tangent now.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Anyway,
guys. Going back to Mario.
Yes.
Mario's in a lot.
really, I feel like we tangent on Mario. We try to just list every Mario game.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
exists.
And we still missed a couple, I can assure you. of
Oh
that.
yeah, we did.
Oh.
Here's
Someone's
the thing.
like,
Now Mario's next accolade is taking the #1 spot in the movie list.
Yeah.
He's going after James Cameron.
mind you, we
Dude,
said
good.
Mario. That doesn't
James-
mean Mario spin-offs
Dude,
like
James-
Donkey Kong
Dude,
and
James,
stuff. Like
I want James. I want him to James Cameron.
Mario.
What about if James Cameron jumps on the next Mario movie?
James Cameron
So that way he can
directs.
take it back because he realized that the blue people aren't going to do it for him.
Mhm.
Together, we can rule the universe.
Are we getting an Avatar 3?
Yeah. It's
Are
with
we?
Fire
I thought it
People.
didn't make it.
It's with the Fire Nation.
He just made them.
I think it's mostly him just,
No,
strong arming the studio, be like, make a third one. Let me do it.
they're
Come
gonna
on."
make a third one, and it's with the Fire Nation people, and he's probably gonna like fast track this because he sees the threat of Mario coming up.
Mhm.
So he's like, guys, we can't let this happen.
I just think it's gonna be so funny. I want one of I want one of them to have like a burned face. And he just talks about honor a lot. He's got a fat uncle. And it's just like always drinking tea.
Dude, I swear to God, I swear, if this is a straight up Avatar ripoff, man,
Yeah.
I will cry, dude.
Can you imagine that's what he does with his son? Because he says he's gonna focus on his kids more in the future movies.
Oh my God.
His son
dude.
becomes the next Aang.
Um,
It has a little arrow.
Oh my God. Well,
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers, congrats to them. They've been doing great. It was a great movie.
Mhm.
And I love how the trend right now on the internet is that you have a lot of people that are super obsessive about that movie, but then you have some people that are really talking about the fact that they didn't like it.
Mhm.
So I know that Meat Canyon, you know who he is, an animator on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a video where he's like, it's okay.
Or the
And
Super
I'm like,
Mario
yeah,
Brothers.
and I'm like, it's fine. It's okay to have
That's
like,
fine.
Yeah,
it's also it's a kids movie.
it's a kid's movie, but
Yeah.
he apparently got so much hate from it that like people were like, oh, it's a movie about kids and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I mean, he's not wrong. It was,
no,
I think if you're not into the franchise as much and you're
Yeah.
not really like a
It's okay.
nostalgic person, it's okay.
that's
Not only
fine.
that, but also
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that it does win an Oscar for
Best animated film.
for either best animated or best original song. So that way it can then be Oscar award winning
Winning.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
James Cameron looks at his Oscar for best special effects. He's like, this is garbage. I don't want this anymore. That didn't win best original.
He didn't show up to the
Song.
Oscars this year.
No,
so-
it didn't because he only
No,
got,
yeah.
he wasn't going to win best picture.
yeah.
No, there was no way.
Yeah, once he saw everything ever all at once, he's all.
Did
Didn't say anything bad.
Turned down for what guys
No, dude,
won the
'cause
Oscar, dude? What?
Because everywhere, everything all at once came out before it, and he was like, "I could beat that." And then went
10
out
years.
to
10
the, and then the
years of
movie,
work, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
And then the movie came out, and he was like, "Nobody else thought I could beat that."
He wasn't gonna win. He knew that. He knew
yeah.
that. Moving on to the next topic. Blade. Back in the news again.
Hit
is-
pause production.
Oh, buddy, for the about 4th or 5th or
Yeah.
6th, maybe
Another-
10th time.
I
it's
saw
not
that.
Production.
That was funny.
With the
Um,
pause production
paused
again?
production.
Because the
again.
writers strike.
Like,
Yeah. So
dude, this movie ain't
rippity rip,
coming
dude.
out. This movie-
It's not coming out. Yeah, like
This is
No.
Marvel's Flash, dude.
yeah, dude.
Dude, Honestly, it's gonna be hilarious when they go to another Blade because he's gonna age out of the role.
Yeah.
He's gonna be 85 by the time
He's
this
gonna
movie
be,
comes
he's
out.
gonna be the guy that's gonna teach Blade how to hunt.
He's gonna have to be Whisker
Yeah, Wesker.
or Wes.
Wesker. It's
Wesker.
Wesker.
You said Whisker. I'm like, what do you mean Whisker?
No, it's
Whisker's
Whistler.
the cat.
No,
No,
is
it's
it Whisker?
Whistler.
It's Whistler.
It's Whistler.
No, it's
Wesker is from
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Blade.
Blade.
Okay, my bad.
Westler. Westler. I think it's
Is it-
Westler.
No, it's Whistler.
Weasler. It's Weasler, guys.
It's a Weasley.
It's Weenie. Weenie Hunt.
It's a wiener.
No, but so Blade stopped production again because of the writer's strike.
This
So
movie's never coming out.
I
It's
don't.
not
At this
really
point,
coming
it's not a surprise. I don't really think that it's.
Wesley.
Here's the thing: there hasn't even been talks about a trailer yet or a tease of any sort. Like it's had been in pre-production.
Whistler. It's
Whistler.
Whistler. It's Whistler.
So I was right.
It
Yeah,
was in
Whistler.
pre-production, into production, back into pre-production, and then it paused pre-production.
Well, then it dropped to then it dropped a director, got a director, dropped a director again, and then got another one.
Dude, there's so many things going on with this
And
movie.
then they then restarted production.
You know
when
what?
The new director came on
got a
just
theory.
because they were rewriting it.
I got a theory. Blade isn't a movie; it's a documentary. They're actually fighting vampires, and that's why it's taking too long. All the directors they're hiring, the spots
They keep dying.
are just traps for vampires, and they're like, guys, we lost another director, but they took down a vampire. That's what it is. It's a documentary. That's why. Moving on to the big comic strip news. Let's talk about the writer's strike because that is an important piece of news.
Speaking of which,
What?
oh no.
Speaking of which, because we're talking about Blade.
Yeah,
Yes.
because of the writer's strike.
Yes. Can I borrow your phone for that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just open up the thing. I was doing some research on it. Los Angeles Times did a good article covering it. Here's the thing. There's a lot of information to talk about in terms of the writer's strike. So I'm just going to look at the Los Angeles Times article here and just kind of go over it. But if you guys are unfamiliar with it, the writer's strike, similar to what happened in 2008?
Yeah.
The writers are on strike. Long story short, they're looking for more pay. They're
Which is
underpaid again.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's fair. It's a fair thing.
People don't know the conditions that writers have to go through when it comes to like shows or even movies that, you know, these writers have to endure
Yeah.
when upon making scripts. That's the thing.
Yeah. So the writer's strike, I think, started on May 2nd or May 3rd.
Yeah.
May
Yeah.
2nd ish, right? Yeah. But if you're unfamiliar with it, in 2008, 2007, there was a writer's strike similar to what was going on here. A lot of production stopped. A lot of shows were trying to continue on, but then they realized that they couldn't.
They got
And
canceled.
They got canceled. Or the biggest, most popular example of what happened with the writer's strike in 2008 was Heroes.
Yes.
Yes,
They
Heroes
got
had
cut
a
short.
stellar first season,
Mm-hmm.
and then the writer's strike happened.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in subs to try to make a season 2,
Yeah.
and then everything else afterwards was just.
I
a
remember
mess.
season 2. It was a very weird season.
Me and him were talking about it because one of the shows me and Rene like watching right now is The Rookie,
Yeah.
and The Rookie just ended, which means that they're going into production and they already got renewed for a new season. So that means
the
that
final season.
Mm.
supposedly.
Supposedly, yeah.
Mhm.
So which also how could it be final season?
I don't know. That's the thing. The way that this season ended, it didn't felt very
And,
like
and then we go here for the
like leading up to the end.
end
Yeah.
game.
Given how it's structured, think about how Scrubs went with its seasons
Oh, with during
No.
the writer's strike?
during
Or-
the writer's strike.
What
because
season would that be? It
season?
was-
So did you watch Scrubs at all?
I did.
Okay, so remember there was a season where they went on vacation or something like that.
Oh, when they went to Hawaii?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that entire season was advertised as the finale.
Oh,
It was never a season
oh,
finale
that's right.
or
Yeah,
a series finale.
Yeah. It was just
finale.
if it was to end, this is where it would go.
And so ABC then picked it up closer to the end
Yeah.
of that
Mm-hmm.
season to then have a series finale
Mhm.
where JD
Yeah, because
goes off.
NBC had it before, right?
yes,
and then
NBC
ABC
canceled
picked it. Yeah.
and ABC picked it up for
Well,
one more season.
Mhm.
I can totally see The Rookie getting picked up by something else if it gets dropped by Fox.
The Rookie is what network?
ABC right now.
ABC.
Yeah, it's ABC.
If ABC cancels The Rookie, it's not getting picked up anywhere else
That's the thing.
because ABC is notorious for picking up
No, because you know who could pick it up?
who.
It could be a Hulu.
Oh, Hulu, because Hulu could pick it up as a Hulu exclusive,
So that's the thing.
and it's doing very well on Hulu.
So here's kind of like the background details of this writer's strike because I think people don't realize how much the industry evolves over time.
Mhm.
Right.
And so if you think back in 2008, 2007, 2008, right?
Mhm.
You had a lot of network television.
Yeah.
That's where your shows were hidden on, right? ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all those. It was
Yeah.
just TV. TV was taking over, right? So they were asking for more pay there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move forward 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Right? Now
We have streaming.
Streaming.
Netflix, Hulu,
everything
HBO, yeah.
is accessible to a point where it's like, okay, if you don't have the time.
Yeah, TV is the main circus for entertainment right now.
With technology advances, you have to advance with it.
Yeah. So networks aren't, they're not the ones that are making the new shows. It's the Netflixes and the Hulus and, the Disney Pluses of the world that are taking over.
So basically, it was like with the involvement of TV reaching these streaming apps, it was only a matter of time before we got another writer strike.
Yeah. So the big headline for this is that they're looking for better streaming royalties from TV shows or from these shows.
Which does
that
make
they're writing.
sense because right now for most TV, I mean, you don't start hitting your big bucks until after you hit 100 episodes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because once you hit 100 episodes, then then you qualify for syndication.
Yes. So they're asking for more royalties in that. That's kind of like the short end of it. And I'm not even touching like the deeper parts of what they're
I was going to
asking
say,
for.
because that's a bigger payout if you have a show that's streamed constantly. Like a show that people are just going back to and just rewatching over and over again.
Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, New
Yeah.
Girl,
Friends.
New Girl. Oh, yeah.
Friends.
Friends
is on Nick at Night for
That
like
70
2-hour
show.
blocks.
How I Met
Yeah.
Your Mother, that 70 show, like
Mhm.
those like classic sitcoms that are just being, because now you don't have to have syndication where people are where they're gonna go, oh, we're gonna put it in a time block to
Mhm.
fill up space. Now people just put it on.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've seen How I Met Your Mother at least like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah, same here. I've rewatched How I Met Your Mother. I've rewatched that 70 show.
New Girl.
I've rewatched New Girl so many times and Seinfeld as well too.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I just put on when I'm cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just put on a random episode.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like, the platforms recognize what gets streamed, or what gets played with.
Yeah.
So obviously, I would ask for some sort of royalty from
Something
that.
like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because
Not even like a big thing, maybe like a small percentage of
Just
that.
Let me ask you this before we move on to more talks about
Yeah.
this, right? Okay. So when you think about shows like Friends, That 70s Show, How I Met Your Mother, a
Mhm.
season would have how
Gilmore
many
Girls.
episodes? Gilmore Girl,
Gilmore Girls, yeah.
how many episodes would those seasons have?
20 at least.
Okay. And then now look at the seasons that exist now.
Oh yeah, now you have less than 10 episodes sometimes.
10?
Yeah, 10.
Maybe,
13.
Maybe.
To
Yeah.
hit that 100 to syndicate, because that's why the 100 mark was always such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That was why everybody was like,
It's
oh,
our
they hit
100th episode.
100 episode.
Yeah.
Because that also meant you guys hit syndication.
Mhm.
You guys were able to make it to 100 episodes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because I think even The Rookie has like there's like 2 seasons where it's only like what 14 episodes.
Yeah, because that was during the pandemic and stuff.
That was
like
during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and then this season came back to being another 21.
21, and then now with this happening, it could be less than. I'm gonna say it's
Could
gonna be
6
less
episodes.
than 6 episodes, or maybe less than 15. It
Yeah.
could be that. It could be 13 episodes. Yeah.
So the number of
shame.
episodes
It's a good
being
show.
ordered
It's a good
is
show.
smaller, right?
Yeah, whenever a writer strike does happen, same thing happened with Supernatural during the writer strike for season 3 of Supernatural. It got heavily affected by the writer strike. So usually Supernatural has 22 episodes, but for season 3 it was less than 20. It was like 18 episodes.
Yeah, because they were subbing in writers to like
Oh,
try
yeah.
to get this production
Mhm.
going. But now they're complaining that these shows are too short now.
Mhm.
So a lot of these writers that are being contracted to write these things, they're having to fill in the gaps with
Yeah.
multiple different gigs
Mhm.
constantly to try to make their ends meet. The other problem is that their pay hasn't really been adjusted since 2018. So the medium for pay there,
Mhm.
again, this is all in the Los Angeles Times article that was released, I
Mhm.
think, a couple days ago,
All right,
if
Brian,
I'm not
go-
mistaken.
Does it
Go,
say
go
how
I
much
don't.
they
the line.
get?
Go across the line. Be like, oh,
It
I'm
doesn't,
here.
it doesn't disclose how much they get paid though.
It
right?
doesn't, but
Okay.
this was the article is written or titled Hollywood's writers are on strike. Here are the 5 things you need to know.
Yeah.
It was written by, I'm going to credit this writer, Anusha Sakuya. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name,
Mhm.
but it was released May 2nd of 2013.
Yeah.
2023, excuse me. So yeah, just so that way you guys can go look at this article.
Mhm.
But their median pay for writers has not increased since 2018.
So you're mixing your G Fuel with your with the remnants of your coffee cup.
Let him.
All right.
Let him, dude. That's his own heart.
Don't let you say that caffeine went to waste.
I know. But yeah, no, writers still haven't gotten paid. They're still not getting their pay increase.
I'll take a sip. I do need to pick me up. I'm trying not to drink so much caffeine lately. That's not that bad. Dang.
Have you guys seen video of the picket lines that are out there?
So
The
No,
picket
I
lines?
haven't
No,
seen the
I haven't. I've
No?
seen. No, I do have a friend that I've met a few times, and we follow each other on Instagram. She is part of the writers' strike. So
She is?
yeah, she did had like a sign and everything. I was, oh, okay, good for her. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I like how here's what I want to see from the writer's strike, right?
Yeah.
I want them to get what they want. What they
No,
deserve.
yeah, I think it's safe to say we completely agree why they're protesting.
Here's the way I see it.
Yeah.
No show or movie or anything that is produced in Hollywood
Mhm.
can ever be made if the foundation isn't secure.
Yes.
And the foundation
Mhm.
are the writers.
Are the
100%.
Yeah.
There's no argument.
Mhm.
There's nothing. You could say, "Oh, but the producers are the ones that that fund the projects. Oh, but the directors are the one that lead the projects." Oh, okay, but
Talent.
you don't just build a house on a plot of land
Yeah.
without a foundation, and your
Yeah.
foundation are the writers.
Are the writers? Yeah.
With that said, give them what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Because yes, shows are going to continuously run. How many years of film and TV shows do we have that we keep looking back on?
Mhm.
You guys gave perfect examples of it.
Mhm.
How I Met Your Mother ended back in like 2013,
Mhm.
right? This show is still going on. It's still being overplayed.
Yeah.
A lot. Friends has a
Mhm.
2-hour block ish on Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Still played over and over again. Not just at Nick at Night,
Yeah.
but the CW.
Yeah.
KTLA. They still play it.
New Girl gets played like, and it's weird because New Girl was one of those shows that I only watched on streaming. That's how I found out about New Girl, and then now it got moved from Netflix to Hulu now.
I thought it was funny because the other one I've been seeing a lot, especially on the actual network of Fox,
Mhm.
is Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah,
I see Malcolm in the Middle playing.
that
a
gets
lot.
that gets streamed a lot too. It's funny how
Where? I don't-
on Hulu.
It's on Hulu?
It's on Hulu.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, dude, I was rewatching it like a month ago. Malcolm in the Middle, such a good show. That's still a
Dude,
good
that show holds.
That's still
That
like
show holds.
there's like nothing there are some episodes that are very, you could tell, oh yeah, that was written in early 2000s.
early 2000s.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
the late
so-
90s, yeah.
Yeah, like the problematic little things here now and then, but overall still a strong structure of a comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston kills it.
Bryan Cranston's great. I forgot how great he was.
So-
I forgot the comedic chops.
Oh yeah, man, he's so funny.
So I'm skimming through this article real quick just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. But apparently there are 11,500 members of the Writers Guild of America on strike right now. That can
Mhm.
change depending on the outcome. There's multiple different other groups that are trying to join in as well and showing their support. But again, similar to what happened in 2007, 2008,
Mhm.
there's a lot of threat of like, well, if you go, you're not choosing to work, then we can technically replace you. So
Well, that's-
Yeah,
your
but that's
choice.
I get that's a corporate mentality.
Yeah.
But that was the same thing when what was it, when all the superstores went on strike.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all the and everybody was there and nobody was buying, and none of the shelves were getting stocked and nothing else.
yeah.
And it really depends. I mean, could you replace these people? True, you could.
You could.
But I mean,
I
a lot
mean-
of these people are you going to get as many people with the same amount of talent and also the same people that can have the same amount of storytelling?
I remember that Superstore strike
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I remember my grandma picked me and my sister up from school. She needed to get her prescription. And we had
Nobody
to go.
was there?
Yeah, no. There was a picket line. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There was an aggressive picket line where I think it was like at a Vons. And they were like, she was pulling up slowly because she didn't want to hit anyone, but they were yelling at her, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" She was like, "Here to get a prescription." And like, "Okay, let her go." Because I think that was like the line where it was like, "Why are you buying your groceries here? But if you're gonna get your prescription, that's different. That's a medical."
That's
It's a
that's
medical
Yeah,
need.
that's a medical need. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And they're like, "Okay, let her go." I was like, and I remember that stuck with me as a kid, and I was like, "Oh man, like, oh wow." It's just funny that just like unlocked a memory in my head right now. I was like,
you're welcome.
yeah, thanks.
welcome.
I was all, wow. Okay.
Unlocking trauma.
Yeah. It's the best memory.
So this also kind of takes into account, the article also kind of brings up two other examples of the writer's strike, which was in 1988, which lasted 153 days. The one in 2007, 2008 was 100 days. So we don't know how long this one will last.
This one just started this month.
To wrap it up, I will say this. There's two other points I want to bring up before we wrap it up. There have been a couple of because like I don't want to discredit anyone that's actually like trying to go out there and support. I personally don't like this streamer, but Hassan like went out there and he was showing support for the Writers Guild, or the Writers Strike. And so he was kind of like showcasing how they managed to shut down a Marvel production that was ongoing that day. He also showcased how like certain tactics to stop the picket lines from happening were going around, which is kind of making neutral gates. If you guys know what they are.
How'd they stop a Marvel
I
production?
don't know. I think it was just they were making a loud enough noise.
Which they couldn't.
Sure, okay, but something happened where they stopped the production. But he was also showcasing what a neutral gate, huh?
I wonder what it was for.
It was for Blade.
No, because Loki would have already been finished.
Yeah.
The Marvels is already done.
The only one that's like on the verge of like starting or their casting is only for I'm only thinking Fantastic Four right now.
Probably. But here's how I think they stopped the production. They were talking about he was showcasing what a neutral gate was, which is like an opening for any deliveries or anyone to go into the production area. To go in and out. And there are places where the picket line cannot cross. It's a neutral area. And so he was showing off going like, yeah, this is how like the industry will just kind of like stop a picket line from happening because you're not interrupting the process. They're not being acknowledged. So I think that they managed to like break through the neutral gate and say like, okay, we're not gonna pay attention to this. We're just gonna keep going. So that was it. There was another point. They're going to bring in they're going to re-talk again, I think April 14th.
Okay.
So we'll see how that happens. But I think we're here for support.
Definitely. We support you guys. Yeah, definitely.
So any and all information, just go look up the Writer's Strike and see where you guys can help out or anything. You guys don't have to join the strike or the picket lines. But...
No, just, if you just kind of like read about it and see why they're doing it. It does suck that it does affect a lot of productions of stuff that even me and Nick like, or maybe you will like, that we'll find out later on that
you like television.
That
shut your mouth, Nick.
On which shows it's definitely going to affect a lot of shows and a lot of movies right now.
Without the writers, you wouldn't have had your favorite shows. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So
are you still watching the Star Trek shows?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm asking a question.
I'm literally asking a question.
And I said yes. So I don't know why you.
Are you still subscribed to Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
I'm not. I stopped after like Halo ended. I was like, yeah,
no,
no, because I honestly I haven't really checked out like the last season of Discovery, and Picard was okay.
I need to.
Pike was meh.
Pike was getting
Strange
good.
New World was good.
Strange New World is okay.
No, I like it. I grew up with the
old
generation.
Yeah. Well, so. I need to finish Strange New Worlds. I still need to finish.
I may have to just like sit down and watch them, but all right.
Also, I need to watch Picard because
do
Mika. Yeah, I do because Mika Burton, the daughter of LeVar Burton. I used to follow her when she was on the
part
on Rooster Teeth. Yeah, she was. I didn't know that she was LeVar Burton's daughter.
Oh, really?
Until she announced it a couple years ago. She's like, "Yeah, this is my dad." And I'm like, "What?
What?
Your dad's LeVar Burton? That's sick! I didn't put the two and two together." But
Burton,
she's in the last season of Picard, so I was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool." A father
Mia
daughter.
Burton, you said?
Mika Burton.
Mika
Burton. Yeah. So yeah. We'll wrap it up with comic strips here. Let's go ahead and talk about Star Wars Visions. Nick, your favorite topic, Star Wars. It was good. All right, moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just kidding.
No, but honestly, this season it's good. It's definitely not as good as season 1. I will give it that.
Wow. Okay.
It's got good episodes, but I do feel that season 1 was stronger.
If you guys are not familiar with Star Wars Visions is a small miniseries. It's a collection, an anthology of different stories in the Star Wars universe, animated by different studios around the world. The first season was studios that were
in Japan.
Yes.
This season was global. Studios from all around the world.
Yes. So this season, global. But they're anthology stories. They're not necessarily canon. They could be taken into consideration, though. I know the first season had some stories that they were taking into consideration.
They thought about it, but I'm pretty sure the giant Death Star lightsaber wasn't going to be one.
The one by Studio Trigger?
Yeah. The one where they were just like, I'm going to mess up this Star Destroyer with my lightsaber.
It just puts like a freaking Kyber crystal in there.
Kyber and going light speed on a X-Wing.
Yeah, riding an X-Wing like it's a surfboard.
I mean, if you wanted top tier Star Wars anime, that would be the episode. But as of like
Like
she literally had
seriously?
lightsabers coming out of her entire body.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it was awesome.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's
It was
canon.
voice of Allison Brie too.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
was
you-
it?
Yeah.
And then you also
Oh.
have, and then you also had like the Ronin. That was
Great.
Oh, that was such a classic
the seven,
episode.
the seven,
yeah.
the seven Jedi. There was a bunch of
The
them
10
that were-
Jedi?
yeah, the 10 Jedi.
Yeah.
That was it.
Mhm.
So I mean, there was a bunch of really like classic episodes that were in there. I liked this one because there were some that were like, oh, this is beautiful. Like it's so beautiful.
We'll finish with your thoughts because you've seen the whole
Yes.
the whole season.
Yes.
But Renee and I've only seen the first 3. You've seen the first 5.
5, yeah.
Here's my first thought on Visions. I personally, watching the first one, was attracted to the idea of like, okay, this is different styles of animation. It's not just anime. Great. And I did like the watercolor aesthetics for the first one. I think the first one's called The Sith or something like that. Or it's just Sith. I did like that animation. But I was a little bit turned off by the way that a lot of these like independent storytellers are telling their stories, which is they immediately want to mess with the dark side. And it's like, I get the edginess behind it,
Mhm.
No, but I also
but you
get
really need to be creative to make it work.
I get that though, but I do understand the idea though, because I mean everything that we've really talked about for Star Wars has always been about a Jedi. We're
Yeah.
always talking about Jedi. We're always
There's always a
following-
lightsaber.
But you
Yeah,
can
we're always
make it-
following a Jedi, not
Rogue
necessarily a
One
Sith.
was one of those stories that didn't involve the Jedi and it still worked. You can do those kinds of stories. It's difficult if you're not using like something that's immediately memorable about Star Wars. Like the third one, where it's the water planet. Like you can't tell that this story was about the Star Wars universe until a TIE fighter comes in like a minute into the story.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? And so in the first one, you kind of don't get it until you see the droid E2 or something like that, right? I will say that what did get me from that episode was when she has to acknowledge the fact that she has both light and dark in her, and her saber goes yellow, and then the second blade comes out and it's red. That was a cool like, oh, that's a cool moment.
I also like
kind
the
of thing.
end painting where it sees the hand with the lightsaber
Oh,
and
yeah.
the 2 blades sticking out. That was cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But for the first 3 episodes, I think that you do get to see a lot of variation in the animation. You get the watercolor design in the first one, you get the children's storybook design in the second one, and then you get some sort of like stop motion animation in the third one.
Yeah.
It's not stop motion though, I don't think.
For which one was the third one?
It's the water planet one.
I think it's half and half.
Half and half, right? So
and then I think it's 5 that's claymation.
yeah.
Which that one was pretty cool.
So
I liked that.
you get that variation of it. For me, out of the first 3, the second one was probably my favorite one. It was a very start off
the one with cave.
the one with the cave,
Okay.
Shrieker's Canyon or something like that.
Mhm.
That you have the comfortability of the animation that it
Yes.
feels like a children's story,
Yeah.
and then the last 5 minutes
Mhm.
where I don't want to spoil it,
Mhm.
so I won't. But the last 5 minutes, it goes dark.
Turns.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell did I just watch? You get really uncomfortable.
It was really interesting to see that story play out, and you're watching it, and you're like, oh, like you're thinking, oh, it's just a wise tale story. You
Yeah.
know, it's their imagination. I thought for a second, because they're going inside of a cave, I was like, are they on a cave that's like Dagobah? Like,
Yeah.
are they
Kind of,
gonna go in and see their own like fear?
Yeah.
But it ended up being just that entity.
That
yeah.
That is a better story though.
That
That
is.
is a cooler story.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the idea of dang, that would have been sick.
Right? It's like they go into that cave, and I'm like, that's a cool little like way to kind of be like, oh, well, there's multiple caves like these across the galaxy and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah,
But I think they wanted to kind of like make their own story in the sense that wasn't so familiar with the Star Wars lore,
Yeah, and
which
I can-
is 100%.
And
it's
I can
fine.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the turn it takes though, because you think it's going to go in one direction and then it ends up going in another direction,
Yeah.
and then that direction it just goes off a steeper hill
Mhm.
where you're like, wait, I did not expect it to go this way.
Yeah.
because later on there's some that are really cool. Like there's one that kind of looks like it's taking place inside of like Mumbai, and it's on a train.
Okay.
And his sister is it's a kid and his baby sister, and his sister is a Force user, and she doesn't understand that you have to hide that. And they're on
Yeah.
and they're like running on a train. It's pretty cool.
I gotta watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
Definitely.
really sick. There's also one where it's the start of a rebellion at a kyber crystal mine, and like all these people are mining for kyber crystals, and they're reaching out to the city because the city doesn't know that people that have been imprisoned from the city are being enslaved in the kyber crystal mines. And so like they're reaching out. That one's really sick. Spy Dancer is awesome because
Don't spoil. Let people watch this.
But there's a lot of like really cool like different ones. Spy Runner is really beautiful because it has like this animated Cirque du Soleil kind of like vibe to it, but also to have this intrigue of like it's somebody who's, you know, spying on the Empire, and there's a turn that happens near the end, and it's really, really cool. Also, the way that they designed the K2 unit, because the K2 unit is like it's stocky and everything else, and it has a huge scar across its face, like it's been in battle. It's pretty cool.
Rene, what were your thoughts on the first 5 episodes that you saw?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like the episode that you watched was the one with the cave, which was really good. I actually liked that one. The 5th one, I think, or the 4th one, where it was the daughter and her mother. Was it the 5th or 4th? Do you know?
Daughter and the mother. What do you mean?
When the daughter wants to become like a pilot.
Oh yeah, that's the 5th one.
That's the 5th one.
That's the claymation one, right?
Oh yeah. That's the claymation one, which is cool. That's the thing. I like that one because it's a different change up from Star Wars.
And it's a race. Right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a rebel and her mom, and then it's an imperial and her mom, and they're racing against each other,
which is cool. It's a cool dynamic and stuff. So I really enjoyed that one as of right now. But the other ones you were talking about, I'm like, oh god, yeah, those sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thoroughly liked it. I pointed it out that there seems to be a set theme, a subtle set theme. The first Vision season was just Jedi, it seemed like, and then this one is more either Sith / dark side, which is cool. I mean, if there is a set theme in each one, I'm for it. So each studio can explore that theme. You know?
I will jump with that. But I'm going to expand it a little bit further. I think that the idea when the Visions first came out was that they really wanted to touch on the Jedi and the Sith, right? Because there's one that I remember, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was the one where the brother of the Jedi goes and tries. It's like the Ronin. It's kind of setting that theme, but he goes and fights a Sith Lord, and it turns out to be someone that they're related to or something like that, and so he ends up turning towards the dark side. Is afterwards.
It the last episode?
I think it's the last one. Yeah. So.
Oh, that one's that's also a really cool one too. I think it's the next one right after for yours. It's all about what was it? The fact that that one.
Are we talking about the second one?
What?
I was still talking about the first one. I was talking about the first season.
Yeah, but you reminded him of the next.
Yeah, I don't. Hold up. Why are you cutting my thought process short?
Because it's lame.
No, it's not lame.
All right, go.
But I was gonna jump aboard on that one because we had the Jedi Sith theme here. I think what's going on with the way that they're telling stories here in the second season is that they really want to expand on the universe and not just touch on the Jedi Sith storylines. They really want to explore the world and the universe of Star Wars, and that's why you have those stories there.
I would love to see a story of a lifestyle of a stormtrooper, honestly. You know, or like a
stormtrooper.
Yeah, or like a rebel warrior or something, you know.
Yeah,
that would be cool to see. If we're going to be doing that, I want them to explore that more, because I've always been interested in a story of a like Star Wars. If they just tell us the story of no Jedi, no political stuff. I just want to see a person living in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to see that through the eyes of like a stormtrooper. Like we get to see them like how they you know came to be from the day they were born, seeing how the Empire is, them believing that what the Empire is doing.
How boring their actual life is.
Yeah, something like that.
But have it be traumatic because, you know.
Yeah, and then you see them fight, you know, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this for my cause. Like, I truly believe in this. That would be a really cool story.
That
John Bodega.
That would be really interesting to kind of see it when you made it like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, like that.
Kind of like from that angle of like them storming the beaches of Yavin 4. And they're like, yeah, and they're mowing
come on,
down
buddy, let's do this.
Why? They take the seeds straight out of Saving Private Ryan. Freaking the gates just drop and they all get blasted.
Tom Hanks is giving you a freaking speech about, all right, gentlemen, You're gonna go in here. Some of you are gonna live. Some of you are gonna die. Like,
You see somebody, you see a laser hit one of the helmets, and he goes, takes it off. Just like, whoa. Like, oh no.
Nick, take us away with its final thoughts on Visions.
No, I do think that I'm excited for a season 3,
which was announced.
Which is announced. I'm excited to see what they do. If they keep on doing it where they release it on May the 4th, that's gonna be great.
I think that's the plan, but I don't think they can rush animation for a year.
well, I don't
So I
know
think it's
if
2025.
it depends
because-
on where they're going or what studios they hit on.
Yeah,
If
but-
they've contracted those studios
but my
already.
thing is that my thing is that while they were working on season 2, I would have already been contracting people for season 3.
Yeah,
Especially if I'm already going to announce that season 3 is coming out.
right
I've
after
already-
season 2 airs.
Yeah, like right after season 2 airs, I would have already been contracting people and having them working on
I wonder if season 3 will be like, because they already did Japan, they did
Mhm.
global. What's next? Planetary.
planetary.
Yeah, you get
They go to
You
Mars.
go to Mars.
Different universes across the galaxy.
No, but I really do think that, Visions is a great story.
American. Like, season 3, we're going American.
It just looks like Avatar. One looks like Avatar. The other one looks like a Family Guy.
Oh my god,
Seth
Seth
MacFarlane.
MacFarlane.
He would do an episode.
He would do it.
He would.
Seth Green. It's just an episode of Robot Chicken.
I'm a sap.
No, but I'm excited to see where Visions goes because I'm okay with it just where it's global because you do get these different ideas, you do get these different takes on Star Wars, and I do feel like that's something that we've missed out as Star Wars fans. Like we're very secluded in our idea of what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of Visions because Visions really opens our mind, opens up the fandom to these new and cooler ideas. And who knows? Maybe some of them, become something bigger. Maybe some of them don't.
Maybe they dig into canon.
Yeah, maybe they dig into
consideration,
canon. Who knows? But I mean, they are still really cool. They're really awesome stories, and I want to see more.
Yeah, no, I think we all do. So
Same.
Vision 3 will probably be out within 2 years, maybe. We'll see.
There is one where it's pretty. It's dark from the very beginning, where it's
Just
a Padawan,
let him watch the
where
season.
it's a Padawan dealing with what was it like? Just a bunch of people dying in front of him,
Cool.
and like
Awesome.
he's dealing with it. It's pretty
Actually,
cool.
quick shout out to Lewis,
Yeah.
who notified Nick last issue, the
Oh,
still Star Wars time,
yes.
that Disney Plus took our idea,
So funny.
Made a playlist.
but all the Ahsoka essentials. So Nick is expecting his
I want my
paycheck.
check.
Yeah, you want
I
your
want my
check, dude. Actually, you can't, dude. Look what's happening with the writer's strike.
Yeah, I gave you a perfect idea to use old material to get new content.
Yeah.
Check me. I want a check.
At Nick Valero.
And
Yeah.
now you will see Nick on the picket line.
Give me that
Go
vet-
like,
give
give
me
me my
that-
check.
I want my check. that's all his sign says. I want my check.
You know what? I'll fit in. I'll fit in with everybody else. Yeah, but
Did they steal from you too?
Hell
I just want
Oh my gosh.
I just want my piece of the pie. That's it. I just want my piece.
All right. Last topic of this issue, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn's swan song out of the MCU as he goes into DC films. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review,
Yes.
obviously. So if you have not seen it, go and watch it, then come back and enjoy our thoughts on
Yeah,
this.
pause it right here at the 56-minute mark.
Well, a couple minutes afterwards because it's not going to be
59-minute mark.
somewhere around that,
Yeah.
56 to 59 minutes.
59, yeah.
But this is your warning that it's going to be filled with spoilers, and let us begin. I'm going to start by saying this. I'm glad James Gunn did not kill anyone.
You know what? Yeah. I'm glad he
Spoiler.
right? Hey, he gave him a warning. That was like a 2-minute warning. And
What?
Ryan's going like, ah! But,
Brian's dead to me.
no, it was really interesting. He decided not to go that cliche as of like, I'm gonna end my Guardians movie
The
like,
way
and-
I wanted to end.
Yeah,
You know
and-
what? And I think that would be great, especially for once you get down the line, like maybe Secret Wars or past that,
Yeah,
when you go, oh, cool. Let's bring the Guardians back.
yeah. That's
And
another
let's-
thing too. He also made it fair that it was like, okay, I'm gonna end the stories here, but I'm gonna keep them alive so Marvel can keep using them
if they choose to do so.
if they choose to do so, or actors just decide to come back. He gave them that freedom.
Yes. So
It's not like, oh well,
'Cause some people
Scarlett
just-
Johansson can't come back. You
okay,
know, like,
but here's the thing. So James Gunn did a tiny Q&A
Yeah.
yesterday on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I tried to ask him a question he didn't answer. I was like,
oh man.
but
He's
someone
like,
did
Bryan?
ask.
No.
Turtle.
Turtle.
So I asked him 2 questions. One was already answered, so he didn't answer that one. The other one, that was a good one, but he didn't answer it. But I asked him if he would ever come back if the conditions were right to do a volume 4, and he said no. So that is confirmed that he does not have any plans right now
Yeah.
to make a volume 4.
He's too busy, dude. Honestly,
He is, and he's running
No,
DC
He
films.
would be
But-
far too busy.
I'm thinking in my head, like, if they were ever to bring in characters for other movies, like if they do another Thor movie,
Yeah.
they can bring in some Guardians characters, or even Avengers movie, Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars.
Yeah, they could, and
They have the freedom to come back.
they have that freedom to do so. But
Mhm.
the way that the stories end for each one,
Mhm.
it's a full circle wrap up.
It
And
is.
I think because Andy and I were discussing this
Mhm.
after the movie, and we were pretty satisfied with how things ended. Andy didn't cry apparently, and I'm like, "Why are you so heartless? Like, you didn't even cry at the part where Rocket almost died." She's like, "Well, because I kind of knew." And I'm like, "I don't care. I don't care if you knew. Okay, it's just sometimes it hurts. All right."
Mandy couldn't watch certain scenes when it was the scene where he first says his first word,
Oh,
Rocket, hurt. She literally went like this.
No, I
And
couldn't
I
do
was
that.
like, oh.
I don't know if I told you this, but I couldn't see Rocket in his eyes as Baby Rocket because it reminded me of my dog.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's 2 things I can't stand: human on human violence,
Mhm.
especially like domestic violence.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I get really aggravated and angry about it. 2, animal abuse. Can't stand it.
Yeah.
Unless Brian's the one.
Shut your
doing
mouth!
it.
Shut your mouth! I knew you were gonna say something like that, dude. It's not even a joke.
Yeah, I know. I'm being
Shut
serious.
up, funny.
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Shut
I'm
up,
being serious.
dude.
No, but
He's not doing it.
Shut up!
It's not funny.
no, but no, I see what you mean. They
I hate you.
so working here yesterday, a lot of people were asking, "Oh, how is Guardians of the Galaxy?" I go, "It's intense. It's very intense.
Yes.
You're watching it, and it's not for the faint of heart. What I tell him is the reason why I like it so much is that James Gunn was like, I am not going to do the Marvel plucky kind of happy going thing.
This is sad.
Yeah, this is going to be depressing. All scenes starting. I'm going to start the scene sad. I'm going to end the scene sad and stuff. In between, I'm going to have my humor.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna and this made me really, really like it too. That I'm excited for him and his Superman movie
Mhm.
because everyone thought James Gunn has this like, oh, it's always fun. He's always cussing. He's always bloody. This one shows I can make a serious film, put some humor in there, but I'm gonna make you cry.
He understands
Mhm.
character development
Yes.
and stories.
Mhm.
And that's what's the beauty about this.
Yeah.
My favorite line out of the whole movie is the story has always been about you. You
Mhm.
just didn't know it yet.
Yes.
The story of Rocket. It is great. And he confirmed that in the Q&A
Mhm.
yesterday. He says the story, the 3
Yeah,
volumes.
Rocket's always been a focus for him.
Rocket was the story. And that
Mhm.
was great to see. But the thing is that the way the movie ends is that
Mm-hmm.
everyone has a full circle wrap up. You don't force certain things to happen because you want your typical Hollywood ending. So the perfect example of this is Star-Lord and Gamora, right?
Yes.
So they have the romance all the way up until 2,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then she ends up dying, comes back from a different
Well,
timeline.
actually, they have the romance all the way up until Infinity.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, Infinity War. Yeah.
In the context of the 3 volumes, it's the
Mhm.
first 2, and then she ends up dying in Infinity,
Mhm.
right? And then comes back. The typical Hollywood ending to that story is that they fall in love again.
Yeah, he finds a way to make her fall in love with her again.
But
I mean,
Gunn doesn't do that.
No.
it kind of feels like there's room for it. Like she can kind of see. Maybe by the end of it, I'm understanding what I saw in you, but not necessarily that I'm falling
Because
in love with you.
he's not forcing that.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, is that it's under their own terms and conditions.
Mhm.
Like, if you want as a writer to take this story further, you
Mhm.
have that option of romancing them
Mhm.
naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way that he leaves these 2 characters is like, it's kind of like real life,
Mhm.
right? I don't have feelings for you because I'm not the same person.
Mhm.
But if there was a different, opportunity, I
Mm-hmm.
will fall in love with you again under my terms and conditions.
Mhm.
Not only that, but also you can kind of see by the end of the movie that it's not that Gamora, because he says that she's a jerk the entire movie, but it's
Mhm.
not that she's a jerk. It's that she's been picked up by her family, which is the Ravagers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She views the Ravagers
Yeah.
as she used to view the Guardians.
Yes,
So because
definitely.
you can see when she gets back on Sakaar's ship,
she feels at home.
She feels at home. They're hugging her. They're like saying, "Oh, good job," everything
Mhm.
else, and just like how the Guardians would have. So she feels at home there because that's who
Mhm.
picked her up after the events. Of
And
the game.
this isn't the same Gamora that we knew from volumes 1 and 2. This
no,
is a
this was
different Gamora.
this was
This was
right
pre-
after her alliance with the Thanos. with
Exactly.
This
Thanos.
would have been pre-Ronin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a completely different Gamora, which is
Mhm.
James Gunn basically understanding that aspect and saying I can't force the attributes of the old Gamora onto this one.
Yes.
You also have a good wrap up with Groot, and I think that Groot is special to me because Groot was literally the figure he was just like he was Grogu basically. Like
Mhm.
I'm here to sell toys.
Mhm.
I'm big bulky tree guy with cool
adorable.
abilities.
Mhm.
Adorable. I turn baby, then I turn teenager,
Mhm.
then I'm a badass like young
Little
adult.
swole.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a swole
swole,
adult.
right? But I think that the
Then I turn
build
into Vin Diesel.
Yeah. No, they took that literal.
Yeah.
Like,
I think what I like so much about Groot though is that 3 words, I am Groot,
Mhm.
meant so much more when he said, I love you guys at the end.
Yeah.
And Andy had a very good theory
Mhm.
about this. That line, that's the question I asked him. And I want him to answer and be like, I want him to confirm yes or no.
Mhm.
She theorizes that that he didn't say I love you guys. She's
said, "I'm
theorizing
Groot."
I am Groot. But we had enough of a close connection to Groot
Yes.
that we
heard
understood it.
Yeah.
He already confirmed that.
Did he really?
Yeah, he already said it inside of an interview.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
So, what was it? Yeah, the idea is that because of our connection with Groot and because we've been spending 9 years with him
Mhm.
and everything else, that we have
His
that-
last words.
his
would
last
be-
words are I love you guys, but
Mhm.
it was now we understand Flora Colossi as well
Uh-huh.
as an audience, and the key to understanding that little pick, because Monica picked it out too, was she goes, the first thing that triggered my thought on that one was because Gamora understood Groot at the very end
Mhm.
because she had finally built that connection.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like Gunn tipping his hat as to this is what this means.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then once he did it, it was kind of like, oh yeah, as an audience, we now are family. Like we're all family
Mhm.
with the Guardians.
Did you notice at the end of the credits when it said special thanks, the
Mhm.
first
to the fans?
Yeah.
so this
To the fans
movie
to make
was
this all-
him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it said to the fans that made this all possible.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I do want to touch on before I have to go. I have to go soon. Is that the usage of Adam Warlock. Now, I am not saying that I am disappointed, but I did wish we had a little bit more of Adam Warlock usage. But in the story, it didn't make sense to have him, which is weird because you have him. He would be more essential to Thanos' story than to just being like, oh, we're gonna save him for later, and then it seemed like the Marvel Studios didn't know what to do with him after.
It's James Gunn acknowledging the fact that
Mhm.
he didn't have that opportunity to
Mhm.
use him the way he wanted to,
Mhm.
so he just kind of said we're gonna put him in a story and use him as like not comedic factor, but as a catalyst for problems to
Mhm.
constantly happen in the story.
yeah.
And then the whole point
True.
was to make him a good guy,
Mhm.
and he kind of was at the end. But
Mhm.
they again, the character development aspect
Mhm.
of it is he grew into becoming a good guy
Yeah.
by that character development in one movie.
Not only that, but also he's supposed to be the next. It's kind of like another Rocket because he's supposed to be the next evolution of the Sovereign.
Uh-huh.
And especially when he has like the little animal,
Mhm.
she's saying, just throw it out the airlock. Like, why are we keeping it? And he's like, no, like he actually has empathy. He actually has feelings. He actually cares about what's happening because like after it's staring at him and he goes, I don't really like the way it's staring at me after I killed its owner. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell that he is a child.
He's
in heart.
learning.
He's learning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I love that scene where she just goes like, show him that we mean business. And then he just goes,
So, all right. Yeah.
Just blast
and
him.
blasts him,
It's
melts
melting him. Yeah.
Did you catch? Okay, so a couple cameos.
Yeah.
Just before you end up,
Mhm.
can we still have you for like another 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Ish?
that's
Okay,
fine.
cool. The cameos. Nathan
Mhm.
Fillion in there.
That was a good one.
Great. Did you
Best.
notice Jennifer Holland was in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Jennifer Holland?
James Gunn's wife.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I didn't recognize her
Oh,
until I
really?
saw her eyes because I was like, those eyes look really
As
familiar.
soon
dude.
as I saw her like first on screen, I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, James Gunn's wife.
I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that's James
Jennifer
Gunn's wife.
Holland has beautiful eyes.
Yes.
Like very unique. And I'm like, why do I recognize those eyes so
Mhm.
much? And I'm like,
She's
it's
Peacemaker.
Jennifer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stared
like-
into him in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So that was great to see. Apparently Pete Davidson also had a cameo.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know who though.
Probably a voice.
or one of the aliens.
Oh,
or
you know
one
what?
of the
Maybe
guards.
he was the one that was talking. Nathan Fillion was saying, "I got one of those too," and he points at the guy. That could have been Pete.
That could have been Pete.
Could've
Yeah.
been.
You know what? It might have been.
It might have been Pete.
Because it kind of
what-
does sound
yeah.
like Pete, where he goes like,
Like,
"Oh,
what are you talking to me? I just love that scene where he's staring at it for a good like 2 minutes. He's like,
Let's go ahead because
I
you
get
do.
it.
yeah.
You do have to end up. You have
Yeah.
to go, and
Yeah, no
Nick
problem.
and I will probably talk for another 10 minutes.
Go for
or
it,
so.
yeah.
But let's give us your thoughts about the ending, because
Oh yeah.
the way it wrapped up
Mhm.
was there were a lot of biblical references here.
Mm-hmm.
There was the infamous Doctor Who line of like, "There is no God."
There is
That's
no
why I
God.
stepped in,
Yeah.
right, with the high
Is that,
evolutionary.
is that a
Yeah.
Doctor Who line?
It's David Tennant.
Yeah, it's David Tennant. Because David Tennant's character is constantly like his doctor's always like science, 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 and he goes, there isn't a higher being. That's a thing.
He can change timelines and
Yeah.
futures of people.
He can do all of this, and how can there be a God?
yeah.
If he can do all of this, how is there a God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that quote right
Mhm.
there, right? And so you had a lot of biblical
Mhm.
references, specifically the one that got me,
Mm-hmm.
Peter Quill dying and then Adam Warlock.
That was pretty good.
That
I'm
was
not gonna
good.
lie.
With that said, your final thoughts on this
Mhm.
movie and the way it wrapped up. What did you think about it?
I overall liked it. I was telling Nick in the theater, and I was telling him very quietly. I go, okay, this is the superior Phase 5 film.
Yeah.
Like so far, this is going to be hard to top. Marvel's is not going to do that. The Marvels is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be better, but
I think it could be fun.
yeah, Marvels is going to be fun. I definitely feel like the Marvels is going to be fun.
But I
But
feel like-
overall, this was really good. I like this a little bit more, just a little bit more than No Way Home, because No Way Home, I think No Way Home is good for like the feeling of like the Spider-Man coming together in this one.
Yeah.
But in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you have that good wrap up of all the characters. They all
Yeah.
have a good ending. Everyone feels so much more closer. You feel the connection between everyone, and it's a good payoff from watching from Guardians 1 to now. You're watching this movie and you're satisfied.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is really good. Soundtrack was great too. I'm glad that
Volume 3.
Yeah, for Volume 3, this is going to be a banger. I like the last song that they chose to play from the early 2000s.
Florence and the Machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a good song to end it, and I thoroughly like the end credit scene.
He did say that he got every piece of music he wanted to for all the Guardian
Mhm.
movies except one. There was
I
a
feel-
copyright issue.
I feel like it was Beastie Boys Intergalactic. I feel like he wanted to use that song.
No, I'll show you the tweet.
Oh, it's a tweet.
It was
Okay.
a different one, yeah.
Because I was telling Nick on the way home, I'm like, I feel like he wanted to use Intergalactic and it would have fit in Guardians 3, but
For the fight scene.
yeah,
right?
for that
Yeah.
fight scene, because he had the Beastie Boys, but he had No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
I was like,
It's in the same album, I think.
yeah, it's the same album. So, but I think Marvel was like, no, we're gonna use that for Marvels because it's intergalactic and stuff like that. So, but how much more better would that be? Oh, so Pete Davidson was the experimental dude. He's all when Mantis was like, ah! Like, oh, I'm not screaming at you. I'm screaming at the other thing. But you look cool though. Like,
Thank you. That was
That's
Pete
even
Davidson.
better. That was Pete Davidson.
That's a cool
Yeah,
cameo.
thanks, babe.
That's hilarious.
That's credit to Mandy.
That's funny.
Thank you, Mandy.
But yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Oh.
overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to watch it again. Mandy still needs time to recuperate emotionally before she sees it. This is my favorite Guardians movie, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
think it's the superior Guardians movie.
Mhm.
I will say that the one thing I don't agree with is people saying that this is the superior trilogy in the MCU. I still
No.
think that the Spider-Man trilogy is the better of those three.
For
of the
me,
three.
it would have to be Captain America, Spider-Man, and Guardians.
Captain America was a trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
technically-
because Civil
I don't-
War.
I don't really, but the thing is that I don't really
All right.
like.
Well, that's my time. I gotta go.
Okay.
All right.
For of the trilogies, I still like Iron Man. I like the Iron Man trilogy because he has a full arc going all the way through, and then once you get to the third one, he gives up being, I don't have to be Iron Man all the time.
Yeah.
I can be Tony Stark. I can have a family.
True. That's true.
But I mean, it's not my favorite.
There's a
and Guardians
personal
is definitely
there's a
getting there.
personal line, but I think that each trilogy has its own place in
Right.
terms of like what you can do. So like the best example I can give you is like the Iron Man storyline. The Iron Man trilogy, right, is a story about, no, I would even say the Iron Man and the Captain America trilogy. It's a very much character driven trilogy,
True.
right? So you have that there. The Spider-Man line. It's a trilogy of generations because you lead up to the 3 different Spider-Men,
True.
right? And I think that this Guardians trilogy that we have here, it's much more than an MCU trilogy. I think that this is a journey of James Gunn. I think that this is a not redefining, but like a self-expression of James Gunn and his work.
I do feel that every single one of the Guardians movies was always like, look what I learned.
Yes.
Like this is what I already like in Guardians 1, this is what I already know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then Guardians 2 was much more of this is what I learned from Guardians 1 and also just everything else I've been working on.
Yeah.
Then Guardians 3 was much more of this is my life and this is what I've been going through.
Yeah.
And because I imagine that when he wrote Guardians 3, he wasn't exactly in the highest of places.
He did say that the Rocket storyline is very he's close to it.
Yes.
So I can kind of see that maybe there's parallels though in terms of like maybe this is too deep of a process to think about, but maybe Hollywood was trying to change him into something better and he didn't want to, and now he's his own independent person. I don't know.
And honestly, I can see, I'm excited to see what James Gunn does next. His next movie that he's working on is Superman
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be Superman Legacy. I'm excited to see it because honestly, I can already see. What I want to see is I can already see it of Superman flying in the air, tapping his foot and listening to the world. And I can see that as like a great opening of like you just seeing the world, and you can see like he's like listening into Metropolis as like a whole.
Yeah.
And he hears the city as its own song. And then like you can kind of hear him like, going in, and then he's peeking into it and you can hear like a scream and like him opening his eyes and then bursting into action.
Yeah.
And I think that would be such a cool, but I feel like that's a James Gunn thing to do.
You think he did say he's starting off with a younger Superman, right?
Starting off with a younger
Superman, so I
Superman,
can see that.
And my thing is that I don't want the origin. I don't want anything like that. I want to see Superman. He's already in the Cape. He's already protecting Metropolis. He's new on the scene, but he's doing his thing.
I want to wrap up with some James Gunn talk, but let's just kind of wrap up our thoughts on Guardians real quick. Guardians to me was a fully engaging movie. Like I couldn't take my eyes off of it for a second, and it was one of those movies where you're not looking at your watch to see how long it's been. Mm-hmm. I was just engrossed in the movie from the start all the way to the end. And the movie, and neither did I. The movie started strong 5 minutes in. Immediately the movie starts and you're into the action, like intense. Mantis breaks her arm, breaks her arm.
Oh, he almost murders the entire Guardian.
Basically in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. And it starts off like that, and that's the entire, it's all gas, no stop.
Yeah.
From the very beginning.
It's pretty much like, oh, Warlock is pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
He's just invincible.
He's what's his name? Mr. X?
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2.
He's a perfect being, and there's nothing we can do about it. And
basically,
it's so dark, but also did you see the clip that James Gunn put on TikTok?
Which one?
Where it's Erin Killen and she's carrying the Peter Quill doll.
Yes, yeah.
It's like a 35-pound doll, and it looks identical to Chris Pratt.
Yeah, and Chris Pratt's also carrying him.
And Chris Pratt's like carrying it around, and he's like looking at him. He goes, "It's kind of creepy."
Yeah, it is. It is
because it looks almost identical, and you can hear Gunn in the background going like, "Yeah, remember that scan we did of you like last month? This is what they were making. This is what it was for." And he's like, "Oh my god, it's weird."
It's a movie that'll keep you just focused on throughout the whole movie. And I will say that maybe the only flaw that I find in this movie that's probably noticeable is that there's a lot of serious moments that then get interrupted with a little bit of humor that kind of don't fit. So there's a part where the High Evolutionary ship is about to take off from Counter Earth,
right? And
they include a little bit of like humor with Nebula and then Drax and Mantis, and it's like this is a serious moment where things are about to go down. You don't need to break that tension with a joke that only lasts. It was what was it? Shoot,
it was when they were trying to break in through the door.
I think so. Yeah, that's a good example of it. Is when they're trying to break through the door as they're going up in space, and then you see
Peter and
Groot just fall, and it's like that's funny, but there's also an intense moment. You just had a good action-packed sequence, literally an Iron Man 2 action sequence, like War Machine and Iron Man.
Yeah,
like.
Okay, here's my thing though. yes, it's a really cool action pack sequence, but I do think it's also it leads into the next scene of the fact that Drax is an idiot, and no, because honestly, and the fact that Nebula doesn't really listen to orders.
Yeah.
Like Nebula is still like she's not really about taking orders. She's all about like, I'm going to protect Peter. I'm going to protect the Guardians. If Drax and also Mantis would have stayed at the ship, then that would have been a lot easier. But also, how do I get Drax, Mantis, and Nebula to the High Evolutionary ship to find the kids there? So it's one of those things of like, okay, I need to get those 3 people.
No, it's to
on the
progress
ship.
the story, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to explore more of the ship. It wasn't just so much about saving Rocket. There was more to this High Evolutionary,
Right.
and his crew. And
Yeah.
so it expanded that story more.
That was why I felt like the comedic moment there was okay, just because it was like, okay, how do we get these 3 into the ship? Because that is pretty funny. Like, and also you don't have that same moment if they're not on the ship, of Rocket saying, at least we're all okay.
I can see it being a 50-50 split in the sense, though.
Maybe.
Like, where it's like some people will think that the humor is okay. They'll like be able to laugh. To me, I get very emotional during certain parts. Like, if the moment's supposed to be intense, I want intensity. If the moment's supposed to be humorous, I'll find it funny. And I
You
can't
don't want a
switch.
half and half.
I don't like switching back and forth. Like,
I love switching back and
I
forth.
can't.
I like it.
It's too much. You should see my stress meter throughout the whole movie. It was bad. It was like all in red.
Should have documented it. Like just like
No, it was like red the entire time. It was like stress for 2.5 hours.
Because I do like the scene, just seeing like Nebula just break down when she hears Rocket, and it's like, oh my god, we did it! Like, we were able to save him.
Nebula was one of those characters that had a really good growth, and I think if we're gonna wrap it up with the Guardians talk here, if you really want to see good character development that James Gunn can do, watch Guardians 1 through 3 and pay attention to Nebula, because Nebula is one of those characters that started off one way, very dark, very very secluded from everyone, and then she ended up opening up towards the end.
But I do get her and Rocket's connection, because Nebula and Rocket were alone for 5 years.
Yeah.
They thought they were the only ones that were left from the Guardians. They thought that everybody else was dead. So they got a lot closer in the 5 years that everybody else was gone.
Yeah.
So I totally understood when Nebula just started breaking down and kind of going like, oh my god, we did it. Like, we were able to save Rocket. And the idea of like, we're in the ship, we're here to save you. And it's like, in what ship? High Evolutionaries. I'm in our ship. Where's everybody else? Well, we came over here to save you.
But that other line that she delivers to Gamora, where he's like, we're family. Like, this is my family. It's like, you never really got to hear that line coming from Nebula.
Like, we're family. And she goes, so is he.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, Nebula is saying your family, Quill.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting. Just to see that kind of that contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mandy, do you mind opening up the time real quick?
Should be 120.
Yeah.
120, 122.
No, stop that at the password. Got 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and just talk about James Gunn for a moment here. Because James Gunn did something that I feel like a lot of directors nowadays have trouble doing in Hollywood, which is redefining and even redeeming themselves from certain things that happen. So James Gunn
I feel like also sending off your characters with a good story.
Yeah.
How do I send off my characters
without killing them?
Without giving them the ultimate send out of like, oh, they died.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, how do I send them off where they can still go have adventures on their own without me telling it, and it still be a pretty cheery ending?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that James Gunn is the best.
It's Mandy.
I'm not gonna say that James Gunn is the best director right now in Hollywood.
Right.
But I will say that Hollywood has one of the best directors in James Gunn.
True.
Simply because when you look at James Gunn's directing and how he's portrayed his stories to the market, to the audiences, to the production and everything, he's not only doing film for film, he's doing film because he's having fun doing so. And it's a very tough thing to grasp, because you really think about it when you're screenwriting, when you're directing, you're trying to deliver a piece of work and you get lost in that work. And at no moment did I ever feel like James Gunn saw this as work.
True.
You don't feel that. The music selection was fun. The characters all had great humor. He wanted to tell the story the way he wanted to tell it, and he wrapped it up the way he wanted to wrap it up.
And I feel like that comes from him seeing the Guardians as aspects of himself. Like,
Yeah.
these are all things that they all have traits that I have, and I can display them individually throughout the Guardians, and in the relationships I can exploit, and not necessarily exploit them, but I can kind of like show them and bring them to the forefront.
Yeah. And think about his previous work so far. So he's done the Suicide Squad, he's done Peacemaker, and he's in the Guardians movies.
So
Have any
far,
of them
all
been?
bangers.
Yeah, all bangers.
So far, all bangers. I don't think he's missed yet. I mean, even with the Guardian, honestly, I would have to say that in the Guardians trilogy, it's probably the strongest. It's the stronger of the trilogies in Marvel. Because even if you go Thor, like Thor's 4 movies, 2 is still kind of weak.
Yeah.
4 is, some people say it's weak, and everything else. Iron Man 2 is weak.
Mhm.
It's always that middle one that's always pretty weak. Captain America, I feel like 3 wasn't exactly a Captain America movie. It's
Civil
more of
War
a-
was an Avengers movie.
It's more of an Avengers.
But Winter
Part
Soldier was a
2.
banger. So
Winter-
Winter Soldier is the best.
And some people say that 1 is not that great.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really hard to kind of see where everybody is at. Whereas in Guardians, everybody goes 1, 2, and 3, all good. They're all really great movies, especially from characters that when they first announced we're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy, went, who in the world are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, these are some D-list heroes.
Yeah.
Why would we make a movie about them? That makes
Even the
no sense.
Suicide Squad, he did that with, he used mainly one well-known character in Harley Quinn, and then everyone else was kind of like on that list of like, unless you read the comics or know anything about
Probably
DC.
wouldn't know these guys.
Exactly. Like, even King Shark, if you come up to me and say like, oh, I know who King Shark is, but you've never picked up a comic book in your life,
You probably watched The Flash.
Yeah.
You probably
There's just no way.
You most likely watch The Flash.
There's
That's
absolutely no way, dude. Polka Dot Man, like, you don't even know who Polka Dot Man is.
Polka Dot Man is he's not even D tier. He's like F tier.
Yeah, is exactly
like
right.
when do you ever go like, oh yeah, dude, my favorite villain, Polka Dot Man. Like, who thought anybody would be dressing up as Polka Dot Man for Halloween? Come on.
No, but James Gunn is doing something that a lot of directors can't do,
Right.
or haven't been able to do successfully, which is redeem themselves as well, because this guy was going to get canceled prior to Guardians 2 being released for tweets that he did years before he started getting into the market. And this isn't to say that we're defending anything that, anything vile that he might have said before.
Yeah, only Bryan is.
No, stop. But it's more along the lines of like, this guy proved himself to be a changed man. And he delivered movies that are fun, relatable, and just captivating to multiple people.
Well, yeah, not only that, but also he really does show that, just because I said something 15 years ago doesn't mean I still believe it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I may have said something really dumb, but it's not like, oh yeah, like this is law. This is everything.
I still believe this stuff.
Yeah, this is still what I believe in, and everything else. In all fairness, I don't even remember what he said.
I don't. Yeah. No.
But for James Gunn, I'm looking forward to seeing what he is. I'm happy that he's in charge of DC right now, because I'm hoping that with him in charge, he can at least guide the filmmakers on where exactly they need to be, because I do feel that is what Marvel has been lacking lately. Is that they've just been letting filmmakers make whatever movies they want to make, or the Marvel has been telling filmmakers what they want, what they need, and then filmmakers are giving it to them, and they're handcuffed to say whatever. Because in this one, James Gunn went, if I'm coming back, I get to do whatever movie I want.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the first F-bomb.
Don't spoil
I'm not
it.
going to say where it is, but there is an F-bomb.
And it's perfectly
Which
placed.
I thought was funny, because do you know why it's in this place that it's in? For a PG-13 movie, it has to be later in the movie.
Oh.
So that's why it's an hour. That's why it's past an hour.
Okay. It's a well-placed F-bomb, though.
It's an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. It's really well-placed, though.
Yeah. So I thought it was really funny, because I'm like, why is it so far in? You would imagine they would just do it in the very beginning. But no, they would like it if it's a PG-13 movie to put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Because most likely a kid isn't paying attention.
And it's so subtle too. It's subtle. It's like, I forgot to look for it, and then the moment I heard it, I'm like,
That was a good one.
That was
solid-
great.
But apparently it was a Chris Pratt improv.
Oh,
He did it one time with it, and then James Gunn goes, "That's perfect. I'm fighting for it." And then he made him do it again without the F-bomb.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "The joke is so much funnier like that." And then he and then he fought to have the F-bomb in it.
Okay, cool.
Which is cool.
That's good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn can do to the DC universe. I mean,
To reiterate, The Flash isn't James Gunn's
No.
first intro to the DC Films universe.
it's gonna be 3. We're gonna have to go 2 movies in.
No,
before-
Blue Beetle, isn't it?
Oh,
that's
Blue
right.
Beetle was already written and it was already in post production.
No, because I thought that Blue Beetle was James Gunn's first like hands-on feature. No, I thought it was
No,
because we still have Aquaman too to deal with this.
Because Aquaman was already done, Blue Beetle was already in post production when James Gunn got hired, and we also still have the Flash to come out. These last 3 movies, he may have tweaked, but it wasn't like it was his. It wasn't like it was handed to him, and he goes, "I get to start this from beginning to end."
I gotta take a look at it then
He can
because
touch-
I was
he can
pretty
barely
sure
touch it.
that he announced that Blue Beetle was the beginning of his tenure as the
Don't get me
head
wrong,
of DC Films.
I think he may have tweaked the movie, like probably giving it maybe a little more, maybe for reshoots. But I don't think. But I'm pretty sure Blue Beetle was already in the middle of shooting.
Gotcha.
When James Gunn got hired, because that movie has been in production for a while
Okay.
before he even was talked about.
Regardless of it, it'll be interesting to see what he does with Superman Legacy. I think that he is. Here's the thing: James Gunn is the type of person to. You don't want to rush him.
Bye, Mandy.
You don't want to rush him, and I forgot 6 years between Volume 2 and Volume 3.
Yeah,
it was 6 years.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be.
It wasn't.
It was supposed to be, I think, 4.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be 2.
Regardless of it, he took his time with it. He didn't rush any of these elements, which is fine. That's kind of what you want to see here. And so when I'm looking at DC Films, I'm like, good. We don't want to rush anything because so far we've seen DC play catch up. And I think James Gunn sees that right now, right? He's seeing Marvel kind of like not crumble, but it's not standing on its own 2 feet correctly. And so
it's gotten the wind knocked out of it.
Exactly. So now James Gunn's going like, okay, you know what? Let's pull back a little bit. We can win this comic book film race if we just take our time and understand what elements we need to focus on. And if he starts off writing and directing Superman Legacy and making a movie that he does take his time with and builds upon that, without a doubt, it could be one of DC's greatest films.
Because I think because that's the other thing too. I think if after Superman Legacy, if it really does work, and I'm assuming it will.
Yeah.
So nothing inside of his filmography has ever made me think James Gunn has no idea what he's doing. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to mix sound. He knows how to point the camera and shoot and make a great story.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what he could do with Clark Kent and Superman. I just want to see what exactly that would then say for the rest of the DC universe. How exactly does that frame or theme the rest of the universe? Because he does have gods and monsters. So how do we frame all these things together? How do we make this feel like, oh yeah, this is a DC movie?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with Marvel, is that when you watch a Marvel movie, you go, oh, this is a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It feels like a Marvel movie. It has the lighting, it has everything else. So I'm interested to see what he does, so that way you go, oh, this is a DC movie.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap up this issue here. I think we've had enough Guardians talk and everything. So
go watch it. Go watch it.
Nerd seal of approval. Yeah. What is it at Rotten Tomatoes right now? 80%?
I think it's like an 80 or 90. I have no idea.
Dude, if it's a low 80, I can understand why, but it's also, I don't think it deserves that low of a score. I would say
some people didn't like it. That's the weird thing.
I mean, opinions can be wrong. It's not a problem.
I've seen a lot of people going like, it's a rocket movie, but there's not a lot of rocket in it.
It's a James Gunn movie, so it's very generic.
Which I think is like Rocket is in half of that movie.
Yeah, maybe dead.
Yeah, I mean like he's
in
flashback. Rocket is in half of the movie.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have our Rocket doesn't mean it was a dumb comment, and I was like, what? I go, what? Like, he's in like more than half the movie. The movie's about Rocket.
Actually, let me close the door because I'm going to say this one thing. I don't know. There's people here already, so.
The store has opened.
I didn't want to spoil it for some people that haven't seen it, but I will say this: Bradley Cooper, dude, when he was crying in that one scene when his animal friends died,
Yes.
that sold me, dude.
Oh yeah.
That sold me. Bradley
Yes.
Cooper did a freaking phenomenal job.
Bradley Cooper is probably one of like the best voice actors in
Dude,
years. Like,
I
he's
felt that.
amazing.
I felt that
Oh
cry.
yeah, it hurt.
Yeah.
It really does. It hurts. It really did.
Did you get
hurt.
emotional in that part, Nick?
Oh,
Did you?
dude, I got emotional in a couple of parts.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
You have
cry.
feelings?
I did have feelings in this movie. Yes. There was a couple of scenes where I was like, oh man, like that's gonna. I was really irritated too because I
And to think I didn't hand you tissues.
I know. I almost needed them. No, the only thing I disagreed with was I thought that they were gonna kill off Peter when he dropped the Zune,
I thought so too.
and I was like, that's a really dumb way to kill Peter.
Yeah,
If that's how if Peter dies, kind of like Yondu, where he's in like space and everything else, and like his story hasn't really finished, and it was because of his Zune. I was like, it's kind of dumb.
there were certain moments where I thought characters were going to die. Rocket dying didn't make any sense because you're spending all that time trying to save him. Drax dying didn't make any sense because you built him up to be a father figure. Mantis dying didn't make any sense. I thought Nebula was going to die when she took over the ship and everything was
That
exploding around her.
Yeah, and she was bleeding and everything else. Yeah, I could see.
I
could
thought
see her
that.
dying there.
Peter Quill's death was like, okay, this is kind of unnecessary, but if someone needed to die, I'm fine with that. The only reason it was any of a save for me was just because of the God painting symbolism that was there. I was like, that's it. That's perfect
That's
for me.
fine, I guess.
But Nerd Seal of Approval for Guardians Volume 3. We really recommend you go watch it. It is a good film. And also, real quick, Andy did point out that Gamora is not in any of the promotional stuff for this film. She's not on like any of the figures. They don't have action figures for her. And now we know why. Because she's not a Guardian.
No, she's a Ravager.
Exactly. So that's why she's not in the McDonald toys. That's why she's like, why is Gamora not in the poster? Why is she not here?
We went to McDonald's before recording, and we were like, why do these toys suck? Because they're just little statues with a QR code in the back.
They
take
are.
a picture of. I
Yeah.
was like, these toys suck.
That's McDonald's for you. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us here at Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 147. Yes. Don't forget to check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Go follow us on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. And go subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think of Star Wars Visions if you've seen it? What do you think about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? And if Disney wants to pay us for our ideas, go ahead and comment down below and we can expect the check soon. Yeah, because
Brian said he'll cross the line. Let's go.
Join the picket line.
He'll cross the picket line. If it comes to the paycheck, he'll do it. You'd be surprised what he'll do for it.
Check out our audio platforms on podcast or on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And with that said, are we ready to wrap this issue up?
Yes, sir.
All right. So no Rene. So someone needs to fill in for his voice. Can you do a Rene voice? Okay. You got to sound like Rene though. All right. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 147. My name is Brian.
Nick.
And Rene!
Signing out from Under City Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you guys!